Good evening, everyone. System Jock here with the 16th episode of the Cultist Simulator Dancer DLC, playing as Margaret Zell. It has been a bit of a journey to try and get these videos to you, and I'm kind of anticipating that it'll be a rough week by the time that this is done, but I hope you are all doing well, and we will get through to the end. And I do apologize, though, for being a little maybe not distracted, but like not 100% there during these broadcasts. I am going to do one last review, and then we can implement our plan. So we weren't able to, well, okay, we were able to. Unfortunately, I sort of neglected my erudition. We've been reading the books. We've been reading the books as a consequence and trying to get up to that third lesson learned. I'm not quite ready to do the Grail Commission yet. I'm not going to want to paint because we're in the middle of a season of suspicion. We're going to the wood. We'll have restlessness. That's not going to trigger by the time I go to the Gaiety, but we'll be able to work that out. This is going to give me a rumor, which is not going to help me too much. If anything, it's actually going to extend the investigation. And the hireling's not going to get me anything. Okay, so a relatively easy start. The stage awaits hot and clean and bare and bright. If I move the moves and step the steps and do what is required, they'll pay me. So I'm not exactly going to drop everything to be able to get that higher level of scholarship, but I do want to. I want to take advantage of what I can, let's say. With the erudition being the way that it is, I would like to have I'm going to need a very clear indicator as to why it's going to fail, and then move on to something else. That means that eventually I will start using reason in the study verb. Tasmane ultimately concludes with apparent reluctance that the deity was a goddess. He suggests that its gender may have been the cause of its suppression. The rites described are often eerie, sometimes grisly. So we get an Ardent Orison, that's our first Forge lore, and of course our first rite, the Rite of the Crucible Soul. It's actually kind of a tough call to say where I'm going to put these. I'll put it off to the side here for now. So one thing I might say, it's like, well, what if I want to try and pursue the third lesson learned right now? I would be able to do it if I read the two collections of essays and then push forward that way. If I try to just study the reason over and over, this is definitely going to decay. So again, I'm going to read through my books. We'll take whatever erudition we can get to supplement the existing stock, and then maybe we'll focus on some other things that can get me erudition. Most importantly, because skeleton songs will allow me to do the Grail Commission, which can potentially get me some erudition as well. So with that in mind, the Skeleton Songs, poems of greedy delight composed by the possibly pseudonymous Arbella Dusk, the rumored heiress turned madam turned poetess. In Arbella's introduction, she explains that the book was to be illustrated, but that the Suppression Bureau would not permit it. She hints that the illustration still exists somewhere. The book is dedicated to Sir Parsifal of the Red Cup. And I should have been paying attention, so we can learn from each other. We won't do anything with the peculiar rumor unless the season of suspicion goes away. There is, incidentally, a way that might work. Actually, I can't remember how long it takes to follow up on a rumor, so the risk of getting a notoriety is too high. So yeah, in this case, I'll play it safe, but there might have been a way to make that work. Oh, no, actually, the mystique that we've earned is already going to extend this beyond where it needs to be. So, never mind. That was never going to work. I was not focusing on all the elements. One thing, I've noticed I have a tendency to stack these cards a little too close to each other, so it seems pretty easy to just, like, bring them up really close, but when you do that in practice, it actually it writes over the two indicators, so I should probably leave a little more space in normal cases, but at some point I'm going to do a proper organization of the board, but this is neither the time nor the place. We already brought some order to the audience. Talking publicly about the invisible arts will attract attention. Perhaps that's what I want. So I've been prioritizing this over bringing people into the Wildwood Club. just simply because I don't really have that much use for my followers. I need at least someone with lantern to try and provoke the light in the skull, but otherwise I'm quite happy with what I have already. Alright. I guess there's no ending text for that. That, or at least I can't see it, so we'll go straight back in. I might have missed the opportunity to do another like an improvement, but... In my sleep I came to the high jagged rock, which is called the Temple of the Wheel, though the hour called the Wheel is long extinct. Another hand had scratched a secret in black lantern on its flank. I burned that secret into my memory to preserve it for waking, before the velvet came out of the velvet wood depths and erased it. The velvet is jealous of her secrets. So I may want to prioritize sending Cat Caro out on exploration before anything else. Again, that's just to try and provoke light in the skull. But for now, I've got plenty of vitality, which we will heal up with. There's really no urgency in terms of getting the extra locations, so I'm happy to use my followers to explore. A half-glimpse wistfulness has touched me, so I'm kind of hoping here that we'll get an opportunity to show our stuff, and we have a hireling, a bomb maker, so we don't need the forge. I'll leave it be. I'm no further along my path of change. In the moments of the secret forms, I must find my lesson. Okay, so I'm going to need to get rid of my restlessness through other means. So the best way, I think the best way for me to handle this right now is to go back to the gaiety. So employ our health. The 29 delightful fruits, the 7 chastisements, the 9 gardens, the 4 regrets, and we have the red secret. Some words are spelt correctly only when the proper ink is used. So, the plan here is I will use 1 restlessness in the talk verb to bring someone into the cult, and then we will use the other restlessness in the job. So this one's got to be used in the talk verb. And let's go read on the white. On the white. Solomon Husher writes, perhaps allegorically, of winter and its long, slow, doomed romance with the sun. The epigraph is sunset at noon. On closer investigation, the work seems to be a theory of aesthetics, or perhaps a set of warnings about the dangers of painting. Oh dear. Alright, so now we have dread. So it's going to be the same principle. We've got 54... We've just enough time to get the recruitment done. Oh, we also have a contentment that we can work with. Sick room grows close and stale, time to get up. I think I'm going to leave the dream slot open, excuse me. We will have a dread that we want to get rid of at the very least. So no point in messing around here, we'll just clear our mind. I remember that I was different before. Not, I must be careful of the company I keep. Crowded thoroughfares by day, a fog-wrapped labyrinth by night. I'll set my minions to searching for opportunities. And tonight I sense an opportunity. Tonight I could attract attention if I cease to hold back, if I commit myself more fully. Tonight they'll notice that. And I might have found somewhere unusual. Alright. So still the same, basically the same routine for exploration. So there's not a whole lot that we can do with the lesson learned. We're really just waiting for this to turn into erudition again. And then, I mean, that does mean that there's a little bit less of a priority on the notable scholarship, but in this case I'm really just sort of waiting it out for a chance to use the reason verb in study. But we do have the option for a commission again, so we will employ our reason towards a grail work. This may be useful for a commission. Read it up, write it up. We certainly have plenty of time before we're due back at the Gaiety, And Husher writes distractedly of his hatred of colors and his yearning for death. He hints at a great work he has envisaged or begun, where the palest of paintings will enthrall the world. He returns again and again to certain compelling phrases, which he claims are the secret words of winter. So that's another Sexton secret, and we'll read Wrapped in the King. Detailed accounts by James Colin Murphy of secret bacchanals and ecstatic dances observed in necropolises and graveyards in southern Europe, in Egypt and in Anatolia. The author is a self-confessed ghoul, an eater of buried flesh. He claims to have witnessed dances while at his feasting. The dances draw from the traditions of the mysteries of the cults of Isis and Sybil, but include both symbolic and literal flayings, and the human heart is always central in the rites. The author punctuates his accounts with queasily sensuous descriptions of his own interrupted feasts. Okay, Light in the Skull, we were looking for that, and we found Clovettes. So I don't think... well, Clovettes sort of fits, but let's start another row. I might have to adjust that, but... Clovette is happy in a way that brooks no counter-argument to happiness. Alright, again, we're not too worried about shifty women, so we'll leave that aside. We'll leave the explore verb aside for now, and wait for Cat Caro to become available again. The sun still moves, the wind still walks, my journals are the labyrinth clue. So, there's a trick here to the erudition, and I sort of employed it, but I employed it badly last time. Dusty facts have become clear in my brain, at least for now. So this is going to be the one that I worry about the most. We've got 3 minutes, and of course 1 minute of that is, you know, well, I guess it doesn't matter, as long as I get it in the study verb before the 3 minutes are done. But basically, once I see this at 60 seconds, I need to combine it with something. The problem I ran into last time was that I had more than one set of erudition to combine, and so the number shifts depending on what you're trying to accomplish. But in this case here, I don't need to worry about the fact that this is decaying. I can actually leave them both empty for a while. Or not empty, but I can leave them uncombined for a while, and then at the last possible minute combine them into a lesson learned, which will mean that overall, I get more time to sort of read these books and otherwise just have the opportunity to get another erudition through things like doing commissions and whatnot. Now, again, do I think I'm going to only be able to... sorry, do I think I'm going to be able to get my scholarship level up only by these sort of invoking lantern kind of moments? Not really. I have a feeling I'm probably going to have to work pretty hard for it, but at the very least, I'll let the game sort of try and drag me along as far as it's willing. We're not ready to read the 6 letters on necessity, but we are ready to go back to the wood. Now I pass between scar-barked trees. The moon passes behind branches, though her fingers remain in my hair. I'm stumbling over roots now. It is tempting to drop to all fours to avoid the low branches. Pale wings move deep in the night. Okay, so as long as I can keep my reputation intact for the next minute, I will be fine. And I finished the manuscript, so good news overall. I may want to be a little careful in terms of when I choose to turn this in, although I suppose if I get a follower, I'm already going to generate a mystique, and that's going to take more than 45 seconds, so we'll be fine. In the meantime, back to the gaiety. Still need to pay the bills. The stage awaits, hot and clean and bare and bright. If I move the moves and step the steps and do what is required, they'll pay me. At these greater feasts, a black pig is always crowned as king before its slaying. On this occasion, its heart was weighed in the balance against a knot of feathers, and its skin became a cape for the officiant. Its flesh was left for the crows, but I must confess my interest was not in its carcass, but in the perfumed flesh of the milliner laid fresh in the earth. Alright, so that's a pretty strong heart lore that we just got. Who could hear this and remain unmoved? The sleeping, the dead, the earth, the sky? Use this in a rite with a Byzantine tinct and a meteoric bullet or other resources of equal power to summon a percussagant. So there is a situation I can see where we get knock from the... Oh, actually... No, we would still need a tool, so never mind. Let's go study the 6 letters of necessity. Warnings and confessions about the cost of the invisible arts addressed to a student by the 17th century magus and reputed immortal Julian Cosley. Cosley's tone is urgent, as if he suspected he may not have... as if he suspected he might have little time left. Okay, season of ambition's coming up, so I need to be mindful of the restlessness again. And we will get another follower out of this. Okay. At some point I want to experiment with Street Strange by Moonlight for erudition, but the thing is that I know that using Cat Caro can potentially get me... I know that using Cat Caro may potentially get me my my erudition, so I'm probably willing to follow up on this peculiar rumor right now. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't read the text. I got a little ahead of myself. I might have found somewhere unusual. Oh, I'm really blowing it. Okay. Back to the wood. Now I pass between scarbark trees. The moon passes behind the branches, though her fingers remain in my hair. I am stumbling over roots now. It is tempting to drop to all fours to avoid the low branches. Pale wings move deep in the night. Seem to be getting fewer opportunities at the Gaiety, or at the very least I'm missing more of them. But what I'm going to do here, I don't really have any reputation to work with right now, but I'm going to throw a bunch of passion. Oh, I actually don't have the passion to throw to it. Okay, well, let's go back to... Right, that's why. Let's go back to the Gaiety. But I will want to keep an eye on that. What I want to try and do here, if I'm going to generate some notoriety, I want to generate a bunch of associated mystique to just sort of muddy the waters a bit. I figure it's better to get on top of that. 27 seconds? I'm willing to wait, but let's get out of the woods before... Oh no, it's considering the evidence already, so... I suspect that, at the end of this story, I may find someone who will hear what I have to say. And it is a full minute, so in future I can be a little more relaxed about that. Okay, I'm gonna have to think about moving on this erudition after reading The Humors of a Gentleman. Mind you, that should also get me some erudition, so... Oh, that got me some erudition too. Even the sun can be divided, though it require the Forge of Days for its division. So our level 1... Well, it's technically not level 1, but our first Smith's secret. I guess it's the red secret that's off. In 5 continents, smiths have whispered the same words to the iron. Murderers have been known to whisper these words too, and adepts, of course. These words are spoken in ritual to inspire an unmerciful change. Okay. So I still have some time with the erudition, so let's try The Humors of a Gentleman. Samuel Savage's satirical comedy on the intrigues of the ailing but cunning John Son, his mistress Mavelyn, her lover Leo, and the upstart Corvino. By the end of the first act, Mavelyn has revealed a secret door in the walls of the house to Leo, and Corvino has taken to consuming worms. And we found Rose. So that's already got us started on some new mystique, which is nice. And let's turn in... Oop. Didn't mean to do that. Let's turn in that commission now. I have what was requested. Alright, so we knew the restlessness was coming up, so that might stop me from doing commission. Well, actually, come to think of it, I'm not going to have a commission to do anyway, so we're fine. I'm safe for now. My adversary has not enough evidence to bring a case against me, and they found no new clues. Oh, did I misplace Douglas? I'll put him here for now, but I think his spot... Actually, I think his spot might be here. Received the currency of the secret world, and my patron has let tantalizing information slip. Yes. No awkward moments between the weary detective and Madame Bichet for sitting in the wrong seat. Okay. So we are going to talk about the Watchman's Secret first. Tonight I sense an opportunity. Tonight I could attract attention if I cease to hold back, if I commit myself more fully. Now I'm going to want my passion in reserve for the painting, although we have a little bit more mystique now, which is good. Tonight they'll notice that. I felt all their eyes upon me. Afterwards I received a gift from an admirer, too gaudy for my tastes, but I can sell it in the second-hand market. So, we'll set that aside. I'm actually willing to wait a little while just because we are about to get some restlessness. Now technically I can dance it away, but I'm going to do some painting. And we will need some inspiration, so I'll just wait until I have... It's tempting to take the peculiar rumor, to be honest. Yeah, let's go for it. While I was returning to the depths, one appeared in front of my eyes, whose mouth was sealed. When I saw them in the great emptiness, I cried out, "I think that last night I met another soul in the wood. I will never recall exactly what we said one to another, but I think that we will recognize each other in the waking world." So we'll do... we'll return to the... Yeah, that's fine. They can stay there. We'll return to the wood. I do still need to use a passion for that. Oop. Still need to use a passion for that. The skin I bear will grow too small, and so I must begin to abandon it. I will need to send part of myself to learn how. And an unpromising address, but a promising resident. So I want to try and, if I'm going to be generating this notoriety, I want to try and generate it as early as I can, so tracking down another rumor. Now this does have the drawback that I'm sort of denying myself the ability to earn some erudition, but I'll work with what I was given, and I apologize, I should have read the text. Okay, so, you know what? Okay, so normally I would want to paint with a notoriety, but actually, no, I can because... this notoriety is going to be generated as well. So it turns out we only needed the one passion now. You never know, this might be a living. And the restlessness is our inspiration. This should have an impact. I'll be pushing the edge of curtain call for the gaiety, but the play is scabrous and occasionally hilarious. The characters are contrary and capricious. Many of the more resonant lines might well be formula of power disguised in plain sight. So another Watchman's Secret. Now we combine the erudition. It's maybe a little tricky to try and get the other one, but we also don't have enough time to read, to use the reason. So again, I sort of blundered on the timings, but we may get lucky and have a light in the skull. That was a big mistake on my part. So I think this notoriety is going to get picked up before anything else. Oh, maybe not. We're probably going to get hit by the investigation either way, though. I have not shirked. 6 point... Nope, actually we'll dodge it. Shockingly. Of course I'm going to tempt fate. No, maybe not. Oh, never mind. The choice has been made. While I was returning to the depths, one appeared in front of my eyes, whose mouth was sealed. When I saw them in the great emptiness, I cried out. I think that last night I met another soul in the wood. I will never recall exactly what we said one to another, but I think that we will recognize each other in the waking world. So we will use that again. I just obviously, if I could have, I would have done it. I would have picked something else, because I do think 3 notoriety stacking on top of each other is maybe a little. It's just because it's like I add another minute, so like it's better to just get the threat off the table, and I'm not following that principle. Now I pass between scarbark trees. The moon passes behind branches, though her fingers remain in my hair. I'm stumbling over roots now. It is tempting to drop to all fours and avoid the low branches. Pale wings move deep in the night. Okay, so I'm just gonna collect it all. I don't even know how much we earned from it, but the point here was to generate some mystique, which we seem to do. I'm going to run to work. The stage awaits hot and clean and bare and bright. If I move the moves and step the steps and do what is required, they'll pay me. Now we got a hanger on out of that. And what I'm going to do now, again, I'll just accept the cost. So I suspect that at the end of the story I may find someone who will hear what I have to say. And I will try to generate some more mystique, because obviously this notoriety is going to last longer than any mystique that's on the board right now. So I'll paint with these 4. Oh, we actually have quite a bit of staleness. So maybe all passion is the way I want to go then. Alright, I mind the library. I think in this case I'm just going to accept the loss and go read some more books. So, Apollo and Marsyas, the libretto of a lost opera concerning the contest between Apollo and Marsyas and its tragic outcome. The librettist is identified only by their initials, RKNJL. In the original myth, Marsyas lost a musical contest and was flayed by Apollo, who later regretted it. In this version, Marsyas' skin has a further history. Alright. I'm safe for now. My adversary has not enough evidence to bring a case against me, and I found no new clues. Sorry, and has found no new clues. Okay, more mystique, which is good. We've got a hanger-on, which is tolerable. Let's talk with Madame Bichet before we go any further. She's seeking pieces for the notorious Carisham Review. And then we'll talk about the Watchman's Secret again. Here's what she needs. A substantial forge. So this is actually something under normal circumstances we wouldn't be able to hand... Oh, actually, sorry. Substantial forge... Yeah, no. Level 4 we have. Okay, well, let's talk about the Watchman's Secret still. It's very substantial is the one. Well, obviously it's the only other condition, but for some reason I thought that said very substantial. Alright. So this one, I think I'm going to put the health in, and this is so I can try and do a 4 passion painting. We do have a bunch of mystique which I would like to preserve, but I'd also like to get rid of the staleness. So let's try the... Well, we'll go back to the Temple of the Wheel. In my sleep, I came to the high jagged rock, which is still called the Temple of the Wheel, though the hour called Wheel is long extinct. Another hand had scratched a secret in the black lantern on its flank. I burned that secret into my memory to preserve for waking, before the velvet came out of the velvet wood depths and erased it. The velvet is jealous of her secrets. Okay. So I have to be a little thoughtful in terms of how I'm going to be using my resources here. Dream is going to be left alone for the time being. I also need to think, do I want to try and do this commission right away, or do I want to... Well, I think it's really the existence of the... Okay, no. It's more the existence of the mystique at the time the Season of Suspicion comes up. So in this case, it makes as much sense for me to do the Forge Commission, which of course means I'm going to have to do another trip to the Gaiety, and then we'll do the painting. That will obviously change if the Suppression Bureau starts nosing around, but in this case, this is the right call because it can potentially get me erudition. An unpromising address, but a promising resident. Possibly the only time that Neville has been called promising. Neville pauses before he speaks and flinches easily. He laughs whenever he thinks you've made a joke. Okay, we'll send Cat Caro back. Oh, actually, sorry, let me think. Yes, Cat Caro will send back on exploration, so we don't need to use the furtive truths quite yet. But I do need to try and provoke some lights in the skull if I can. Okay, Season of Suspicion coming up, so I do want to get that painting done sooner rather than later, although the window's quickly closing. The skin of Marsyas gives oracles and is later smuggled to Phrygia, where the priestesses of Sybil use it for a drumhead. At the opera's climax, the pounding of the drum drives would-be violators of the priestess to suicidal madness. The opera ends with a wistful hymn from the youngest priestess on the beauty of mountain pines. Okay, Victory of the Crowns. Erratic accounts by one Arun of the hunting and consumption of supposed immortals by shadowy cults of assassins, published in the late 19th century. The assassins are, according to Arun, the agents of a power called the Coronal, a soldier of the secret masters. The accounts go all the way back to Roman times. And Street Strange by Moonlight again. We'll just keep bringing Cat Caro into the search. Wolf Despair prowls elsewhere. No dread empowers this despair. It's over for now. And we won't worry about hiring the entry consultant quite yet. So I need to worry about the 267 notoriety here. In 55 seconds, we're going to generate Mystique. We'll also get a Mystique for turning in the commission to Madame Bichet. I do need to go to the Gaiety. I'm not going to have enough time. I think I'm just going to be shy of the 60 seconds that I need. So we'll have to do the contract, and then we will get a painting done to try and spam a bit of Mystique. In the wood beyond the walls of the mantis, a jagged rock rears like the petrified remnants of a dancing giant. I trailed my hand along its flank, over the eye signs and lichen and the crude graffiti of the lesser wood powers, and I felt the thrumming of the wheel, which is past. It is past, but something continues. Okay. So yeah, it might be slightly less than 58 seconds to paint. In fact, it probably is. But the stage awaits hot and clean and bare and bright. If I move the moves and step the steps and do what is required, they'll pay me. Like I said, conservative player, so I may get hit by the notoriety, but at least I won't have thrown away my job for nothing. Well, it's not throwing it away. It's inconvenient to try and regain it. Okay, Season of Vision's coming up. Arun's scholarship is dubious, but she writes pithily. Incidents of sudden and violent death are interspersed with aphorisms. Hours don't dream, long try not to. So, I did run a little bit over, but this is a nice little milestone for us because we have now cleared out all of the books that we bought at Glover and Glover, which gives me some space for the lore. I am definitely going to sort of work out this playing field a little bit better, but for now, I'm just going to move all the books up to another level. Gives me room for my lore. But yeah, I mean, we're dealing with a fickle public. We had a lot of we got a lot of staleness for reputation-based painting. We've been trying to work with rumor and finding mentors when we're looking for followers, but we're largely making progress. The erudition is definitely turning into a little bit of a grind, but that kind of comes with the territory. I suppose at the very least, I'm maintaining the lesson learned, and if I have to, I'll just maybe I won't use the collections of essays, but we'll just keep studying the reason, because there's going to be a while I just get everybody into the cult. It is also worth mentioning we do have the Ecdysis Parable, and more importantly, we do have a tendency to generate old and happy far-off things along with other moth influence. So we may actually be able to raise a few of our followers even higher. But again, that's also going to be something that generates a fairly consistent stream of notoriety, and so in this case here, I don't think it hurts to spend a little while preparing. Obviously, I know I have a tendency to over-prepare, but I don't necessarily think that's a bad way of approaching it. It's not like I'm going for a speed run or something like that, although that might be a fun challenge. In any case, I wanted to take a second to say thank you again for sticking with me this week. I feel like I had a lot of trouble getting these videos done. I don't know how apparent that was on the broadcasts, but you all give me a wonderful reason for doing them. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. The option's down below, and if you'd like to be notified when videos become available, there is a little bell beside it. And of course, if you'd like to help me get these videos noticed, or if you just simply like to express your appreciation, please consider giving the video a like. And if you would like, you could also leave a comment, because I do read them, and I certainly enjoy interacting with all of you. Excuse me. But I am a YouTube viewer as well, and I don't leave a lot of comments, so I am asking you all to do something that I don't normally do. Have a lovely weekend. I will see you all on Monday, and I will hopefully be in better health. Until then.